Salutations, my kindred souls. Welcome back to an episode of Lux Martin Integration. I'm Lux, and on this channel, I love talking about all things healing, wisdom, and integration. And I'm so happy you're here. It's been a hot minute, and I decided to pivot a little bit, and I'm going to be a little more authentic, vulnerable, transparent. Not that I wasn't authentic before, but I've been encouraged to get a little more vulnerable in my sharing of real life with you. And so this is the new jumping off point of that. So today's episode is going to be about how a story about how a chai latte became an adventure, about how chai became a search for something that I realized I needed. I've spent the last 6 months thinking that I need a better drink, and what I actually needed was myself. So I'm sure that sounds absolutely bonkers and silly, but here's me trying to share a little more real piece of myself with you in my adventure of finding the perfect chai. So I'll start off with explaining to you that about 6 months ago, I just, between like changing jobs and income levels changing and all the things, like I realized that I was hitting the drive-through almost every morning for a chai. I love the way they taste. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I like the tea. I like the caffeine. I like the drink. I just do. And I realized, like, wow, I'm spending a lot of money at the drive-through. Why don't I start learning how to make this myself? And so thus began the kicking point. In full transparency, I will tell you that every step of the way I used ChatGPT. I used my office assistant Nova on the regular, including on how to create experimental craft beveraging of the chai with my assistant Nova. And so we kind of started off on this like adventure of I bought all the spices. I bought like stars of anise and cardamom pods and cinnamon sticks and experimented with like 4 different kinds of black tea. And I got a frother and all the things. So like every step of the way, I was like, well, maybe I need this and maybe I need this. And I started winding down this path of like, how do I craft this absolutely like to die for delicious drink that I don't have to go buy at the drive-through. I've crafted it myself for hopefully comparatively a much better price per drink in buying all of these products and things to make the drink than I would every other day at the drive-through. And the journey got frustrating really fast. The search for the perfect chai got incredibly discouraging fast, many times along the way. So we're talking 6 months of try it for a few weeks, take a couple weeks break, try it, like get inspired to try again for a few weeks, take a couple weeks break. So this is a long winding process. And it started out fun. It started out as like, I bet you I can make this. I bet you this will be a fun ritual, and I bet you it'll save me money. And so it was an encouraging thing at first. What started to get discouraging was the initial realization that I was struggling to get anywhere near the flavor of what I would get at the drive-through, be it Starbucks or some of my other local coffee shops, or even like I started buying the chai syrup you can get at the grocery store to mix with milk and things like that. And so I was trying all of these different things and going, why doesn't mine taste like that? And we thought, well, maybe it's this tea, and maybe it's more pepper, and maybe it's less spice, and maybe it's the milk, and maybe all of these things. And so after several tries, I got through maybe 3 or 4 bouts of wanting to give up and take a break, because no matter what I made, it either tasted like warm milk, bitter tea, or empty water. Like there was no wholesome, delicious, and all-encompassing experience. Like there were 1 or 2 moments where like I would go get the chai and come home and just sit with my dogs for 10 minutes and sit in the silence in the morning, or sit on my back porch and like really enjoy this time to myself, whether it was in the quiet or to listen to a meditation or some of my favorite mentors, things like that. Like I remember very clearly reaching for that experience of this feels so good. And so I thought, off I go on perfecting, what must be this chai? This chai tastes like junk. And what I started realizing along the way in my conversations with ChatGPT is that there were several avenues I tried. Was it about tea? Was it about ingredients? Was it about process? Was it about temperature? Was it about my palate? And I started realizing along the way as well that my cravings were changing. And it was very in hindsight when I realized that my cravings were changing based on the stress levels and what was going on in my life. Totally guilty of craving the empty sugar carbs. Like when life was at its peak stress level, I wanted sugary, I wanted punchy, I wanted strong, I wanted zippy. I wanted that like punch to keep me going of like, yes, you can do this. Like this is potent, flavorful, like this is the recharge you need. And then after a while that got stale. Like I got over it and was like, wow, I'm craving something deeper, like mellower, wholesome. And there was this coffee shop near my in my hometown that made happened to make an incredibly delicious one. And I was like, what is it about this? This tastes so much deeper. This tastes so much more comforting. And so I was like, I didn't realize until like a good several weeks into it that I was searching for a feeling more than I was searching for a flavor. Like it started out as flavor, then it became a feeling, then it became, what am I really searching for? Because I'm still disappointed. I'm still upset with the lack of achievement, with the lack of like, this is it. This is the flavor. This is it. And so what I realized, like in happenstance conversation with my assistant Nova, is that in a particularly stressful week, when I was like, my dogs are acting weird, my home life is upside down, work is stressing me out, this drink tastes like garbage. What is it? Like, why am I getting so ticked off and discouraged? And why is this not happening for me? And it just happenstance in the conversation, in the text back and forth, it was like, oh, Lux, you're not searching for flavor right now. Like you're not actually searching for palate. You're searching for comfort. You're searching for grounding. You're searching for confidence and reassurance. You're searching for ritual. You're searching for yourself. Like that's what I was so desperately needing, is grounding and comfort and remembering my confidence and trust in myself. Now, this is the part where I'm sure you're like, you were looking for all that in a drink, hun? Like, what in the world are you doing? That's the turning point. That is the moral of this story, is that I accidentally was asking one thing to solve too many problems. Everybody does that. We're all guilty of like wanting a thing, a ritual, a person, a something to do more than it really can or should. Whether it's coffee or shopping or exercise, relationships, achieving things, productivity, food, social media, we're all guilty of asking something to do more than it's meant to, because what we're actually looking for is something we can provide ourselves at a much deeper level. And so along the way, what I realized is like what happened to be like the most delicious chai latte on God's green earth, what I was asking it to be, it wasn't just the drink I was looking for. It was me. It was all the things I knew I could and should, I don't say should that often, but should provide myself. And I'm not saying this to make anyone feel bad, because I don't even let myself feel bad about that. There's nothing wrong with the fact that we humans do this. We look for things, we attach too greatly to a tool in our toolbox, like a morning ritual routine, or like a workout regimen, or like a diet that helps keep us on a great regular pace. We're all guilty of taking a tool in our toolbox and becoming overly reliant upon it to do more than what the tool is meant to do. Mine just happened to be chai. That doesn't mean that any of us are guilty of like some toxic, terrible problem of like us needing things in a codependent fashion. It simply became a symbolic journey for me that I was looking for something much deeper, and that I was going to find it within myself rather than the bottom of my cup. You know what I mean? And so what I'm trying to share in this story is that I was inviting you, and I am inviting myself, to further explore the areas in my life where I am using a tool, person, place, thing, ritual, something for more than it was meant to hold. The chai was simply the invitation, not the destination of what I was meant to discover along this tea crafting experience. And I will share with you that the funniest part about this whole thing was that after different recipes and teas and powders and syrups and all the things. I went back to my favorite shop that made the best one. And I was like, I would really like to know like what you do because I've been trying to figure this out for months and I just can't make mine taste like yours. And they're like, oh yeah, it's powdered chai. It's a mix we mix in with your milk and then froth it. You can get it on Amazon. I was like, wow, all of that for sugar powder that I'm going to continue to mix in my drink to chase that wholesome depth that I was looking for 6 months. So if any of you have also come to the stark realization that that thing or that tool was certainly not as deep as you were hoping the rabbit hole would go, I've seen me do that too. But anyways, the real takeaway of sharing the chai story is that in this lengthy winding process, what I realized is there's nothing wrong with the tools in my toolbox. There's nothing wrong with enjoying a drink, whether it's super healthy for me or not so much, or some combination of in between. There's nothing wrong with treating yourself. And I don't need a drink to make me feel whole. And I don't even need the drink sitting on the couch in quiet serenity or meditating with my pups to make me whole. I don't, any and all of those combinations wasn't it. It wasn't the thing that I was deeply, truly seeking. It was taking a deeper look inside of myself and realizing that amongst the motion of the ocean of my life, the one thing I can count on is me, always, no matter what. And I needed that reminder of self, of I trust the shit out of myself. And I've worked really hard to get to that place. And I was being invited to see it on a deeper level, that even when the tools aren't necessarily helping, even when my go-to routines or my modalities aren't scratching that itch that's not getting satisfied, go deeper. Can I go deeper? Can I look deeper into self and realize that I am everything I need? And we can all say that, we can all know that, but to embody it and live it fully and let the things around you that aren't really doing it for you be that wake up call or that invitation to, like I am slightly leaking this power outside of myself, even if it's just a little bit, even if it's just to a latte. Okay. We all have these times in our life where we're leaking some of that sovereignty out to something a little too much. Like we're giving it a little too much power over our stability, our peace, our wholeness and completion. And so all of that to say that of 6 months of tea and ingredients and frothers and powders was the lesson to teach me that at the end of the day, no matter what, if there were no other tools in my life, no chai, no roof over my head, no foam roller, no meditation, if I had none of it, at the end of the day, I could truly rely on myself to come back and find it, to find the grounding, find the trust, find the self sovereignty if I go inward deep enough. And I just kind of wanted to share this story with you of how sometimes it's so much more than about the tea. Sometimes it's so much more than it's about the dog or it's about that relationship. Sometimes it's about so much more than that. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it really isn't. And so I'm not asking you to look for what isn't there, but I am suggesting that where in your life can you examine if you're asking for something to do more than it's meant to, like a good cup of coffee or the perfect clean diet or your marriage, you know what I mean? Like, where are you asking it to do more than it really can? So, in closing reflection, I still love chai. I probably always will. And I'm still not really done with the journey of do I have the ultimate beautiful, delicious, ritualistic drink? No, not really, because apparently I can't even mix powdered chai perfectly without some struggle and contemplation of, can't this taste better? Just a little bit. But for now, I'm making tea or I'm tea crafting. I'm a tea scientist now because it's fun, not because I'm hoping the next cup finally fixes the way I feel, not because I'm hoping that the next time I sit down on the couch with Morty and my chai, my mug, that like the world will be right again. And honestly, I think that's the healthiest recipe for healing and wellness that I've discovered this year is that it is not in the chai, nor when I have it, nor why I have it, nor how much of it I have. It's about the way I'm returning to self and the way I'm caring for self. And can I look deeper for that self care? And so, yeah, that was just a fun, kind of off the wall kind of share because I haven't been on the channel in a while. So I hope this finds who it was meant to and encourages you how it was meant to, whether that's to simply examine your life a little deeper or stop and give yourself the love and the hug and the reassurance you need to remember that you got this. Like, you are what you need. You can trust the snot out of yourself on the deepest level. And just when you think you trust yourself on the deepest level, you can be peeled back deeper. Like, you absolutely can. And I'm still discovering that for myself. And so I just hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day, and that whatever that chai is in your life, you enjoy it for what it is and nothing more, because the anything more you might be looking for is right here. Keep seeking, keep softening, keep showing up. The light you're looking for is the light you already are. Take care.